So another thing that you need to know when you do data gathering process is the sequence of questions. So how do you arrange the questions with the content questions and the follow-up questions? So these are the things that you have to know. First, get the respondents involved in the interview as soon as possible. And then, before asking about controversial matters about your topic, first ask about some facts. So you confirm first different facts, like you are working in a community pharmacy. So is this a privately owned company? Things like that, in order to settle your respondent and make the respondent confident and at ease. Intersperse fact-based questions throughout the interview. You can inject fact-based questions aside from the qualitative questions that you have prepared. Ask questions about the present before questions about the past or future. So you ask first what is happening right now before you ask if what has happened before and what are the things that you have planned for the future. The last questions might allow respondents to provide any extra information they consider to be relevant, and questions must be worded with diligence. Questions should be asked one at a time, and wording should be open-ended so that respondents have the opportunity to choose their descriptive vocabulary while answering questions. Questions should be as neutral as possible, and questions should be worded clearly. So you have to be careful of asking or using the word why in the question. So this type of question may encourage a participant to answer, but it will also cause a feeling of defensiveness, like you are questioning the things that they have experienced. So be cautious of using the word why in the questions. Moving forward in conducting the interview, these are the things, according to Creswell, these are the things that you need to do. So you have to identify first your interviewees, determine the type of the interview you will use. So it's better that you will use semi-structured interview for our research design in pharmacy. During the interview, audio tape the questions or press the record button to record everything starting from the beginning to the finish. Take brief notes during the interview aside from the recording. Example of the observation of their body language. Locate a quiet, suitable place for the interview. Obtain consent from the interviewer to participate in the study. Have a plan, but be flexible. Use probes to obtain additional information. So probes are follow-up questions that you can ask after the content or the main questions. Be courteous and professional when the interview is over. You have to thank, be polite, and appreciate your respondent. And also recap the things that you have taken down notes. And again, you have to verify if your interpretation of what is the respondent has shared is correct. So with the questionnaires, questionnaires have many uses, most notably to discover what the masses are thinking or what your respondents are thinking. So in your questionnaire, there are parts of the questionnaire. So in starting out, these are the things that you need to consider according to Bell and Waters and O'Leary. So you have to offer clear checklist for creating a questionnaire from beginning to end. You can begin your writing of questionnaire or formulating of questionnaire by doing a checklist first. So a very good checklist is by converting your statement of the problem as the checklist in order to double check if everything in the SOP is included in your main questions. So you can compare the two if everything is present. So remind the researcher to obtain approval prior to administering their questionnaire. So of course, even this is qualitative research gathering, So you have to undergo also validation process in order to obtain approval by the experts. In order for your questions be validated, if it is the best question or the best method or the best intention to address your research objective. And then in starting out formulating a questionnaire, O'Leary suggests that you operational concepts in the beginning and define measurable variables. Operationalize concepts meaning you have to define it according in context to their practice. So if it's a hospital pharmacy practice, it has to be according to that concept or context. Okay, it has to be explained or it has to be included in your drafting out of the questionnaire from the beginning, from the instruction towards the main question itself. Prior to writing your own question, you have to explore existing possibilities in order to adapt previous instrument. You can look for previous questions about your topic, and with that previous questions from different researches, you can draft your own unique questions. So you can do verbal and open questions. You can do listings, category, ranking, quantity, grid, and scale. But in our semi-structured interviews, verbal and open-ended type of questions is very much applicable or the best type of questions that you can include in your interview. So order questions or the sequence of questions and appearance and layout. I have already discussed a while ago the sequence of the questions, but you have to remember content questions must come first before probing questions. So both authors emphasize thoughtfulness about the order of questions, considering logic and ease for respondents. So in other words, you have to present a big idea, a chunk of idea, and then you probe it into tidbits, into small information. He also suggests the Bell and Waters researchers should avoid asking threatening, awkward, insulting, or difficult questions, especially in the beginning of the questionnaire. So the difficulty also um, uh, must be presented in increments from the easy questions, moderate to difficult questions. So you can do that in your interview, but avoid threatening, awkward, insulting questions. It also takes a more broad view of the aesthetics of the questionnaire. So you have to be mindful of if you want to provide your respondents a copy of the questions, it has to be aesthetically nice, correct, and the layout is pleasing to the eyes. Okay? To show our preparedness. Another important part of our questionnaire is how you write your instructions, because as we say, incorrect or not following of instructions considered wrong, but you have to make sure that your instructions are correct. So it has to be clear and unambiguous for the respondents to have understanding of your objectives. So the step is followed by a layout or rearranging questions. So you can ask your advisors, or if there is suggestion from the validators, how you would do the rearranging of your question so that it is presented also in the instruction. You will tell your respondents that these are the arrangement of my questions. So just answer or just share to me your personal experience about these things. So you have to warn researchers to use professional and aesthetically pleasing formatting also. If you want to share your questionnaire to your respondents, make sure you are doing it professionally and the layout is applicable to research. And then, aside from opening instructions, you have also to provide final instructions. So, final instructions may include concluding remarks like you want to you want to share something about your aim of the project and it is being achieved by the respondent's answer, or anything like assurances of confidentiality. So these things here is also applicable for quantitative data gathering. To those groups that we will perform research design under quanti, these things here are also applicable when you write your questionnaire or when you present your questionnaire in the Google Forms. Now this one, the sample and pilot testing. So we have to do run through. So in qualitative data gathering, you can practice it with one person, so that you would know if your questions are irrelevant or not really necessary for the respondents. Then you reflect with whatever the results that you have gathered. You seek feedback, maybe from your advisors. And then if you are on a quantitative data gathering, this is applicable to you, that you use statistical package. And for quali, forgo with this one. And after your feedbacking, you can do modifications and repeat again if there is a need to revise your questionnaire. Okay, so this one is how you will develop a skeleton to design primary questions and also sub-questions. So primary questions, or the content question, the main question is presented like this. Like, how do you think your role of being a community pharmacist affects the antimicrobial stewardship program in the community? So that would be the main question. Or describe your role as community pharmacist in the antimicrobial stewardship program as you've experienced here in the pharmacy. Okay, that is a primary or a big topic question, a content question. And then a sub-question, or the probing question, what are the things that you have encountered, or what are the barriers, or what are the experiences, what are the characteristics of the people when you discuss to them the proper use of antimicrobials with what is mandated by PhilHealth or what is mandated by the government. Okay, so that is uh, an open-ended question and a sub-question, a probing question. So you can add more to that.